My name is Charisse Winter. I am a distance runner. I have done 22 marathons. Boston will be my 23rd this year, and it will be my third Boston. I also did it last year and in 2012. Both were really hot, so much that I can't just always run the same one, even when it's Boston. But I have been a runner since I was 11. I really started running once I got to high school. I did track and cross country. Shortly after I graduated from college, I found a local half marathon and decided to run that. And where I was living in southern Indiana at the time. And before I had even done that, I had already picked out my first full marathon, which was the Flying Pig in Cincinnati. And I just remember cresting the top of this hill later in the race. It was this beautiful view of the city, and I thought, I am going to run marathons forever, as long as I possibly can. I love running because it's my sanity. I love the feeling from it. There's nothing like that feeling whenever you go running. I know a lot of people are all about the feeling you get afterwards, but I love the whole aspect of it. And there's just the intense amount of fitness you get from it, and sort of the internal competitive nature that I have, and I can really compete with myself on that. So it's just the all-around package, and I can do it from anywhere. So I get to see cities that way, trails, all sorts of stuff, and it just kind of makes me whole. So we're going to Altamont Springs Yoga / Yoga University. Yoga is such a huge part of the mobility, of my flexibility, of strengthening in the right places. So many of my hot yoga classes are really focused on the core and your hips, and kind of like opening up that area. And similarly, like bar 3, which is something else I really like to do, that it works like kind of those like everyday core areas that can tend to be really weak in runners, particularly distance runners, because they're just areas we either neglect or just because of the way that we run are things that need to be stronger than the average person that we just don't work on. So we are going to Essential Mind and Body, which is, it's my chiropractor. I like one of the massage therapists there, and they also do some nutrition stuff, and I also go to acupuncture there. So I go to, she goes by Dr. Candy. Candace is her real name. You know, I think I was skeptical of acupuncture for a long time, and then about a year ago, I decided to try it because I was having just a lot of issues with like plantar fasciitis, and I had heard that a lot of people had had success for that, and I kind of have a history of like digestive things with my stomach, and I had heard, you know, just the effects of that, and kind of looked into it more and kind of how it like relates things, and so I decided to try it, and did have some success with it. And something else that I get from Dr. Candy are vitamin B12 shots, and those are kind of like the original natural energy. So they do, I mean, your body needs them. They're also in some of the supplements I take. Like there's a ton of vitamin B, and particularly vitamin B12 in Noon, which is the electrolyte replacement that I use. But they help a lot. It goes into your system. You feel like a lot more easily recovered.
and then you get kind of this sustained energy. So I mean, it's really helpful to get it for a race if you can get it just like a couple days before, but if you get it even a week before, you can still feel kind of some of the lasting effects, and you don't get like, you know, if you are the kind of person that would typically drink coffee in the afternoon for that slump, like you don't get the slump. So things like that, you just feel generally better. It's like a little jolt when the needle goes in, and then it just kind of like emanates around it. But other than that, like you just get kind of like warm and relaxed, and it's nap time. Nutrition is a super important part of training. Really, it's just as important as any other running workout that I'm doing. I'm a vegetarian, and so I have a few unique challenges in making sure that I get enough protein, iron, calcium. I don't have any trouble with the carbs. I can do that all day. But you know, I just want to make sure that the fuel that I'm putting in my body is going to help me perform. Because you know, if I'm putting crap food in my body, then I'm going to feel like crap when I'm running. As far as the protein goes, I swear by crunchy peanut butter, so I eat that all the time, like my weight in peanut butter probably. And then, you know, as far as race nutrition, I've had a lot of stomach issues with gels and things, but I have really liked Huma gels, and then also the Goo Roctane gels. And then I drink noon tablets in my water before and during, as well as pretty much every morning and all day. I'm here to pick up nutrition, Athlete Feet in Orlando, and so to talk a little bit about that. So I have kind of unique fueling needs. I get an upset stomach really easily, so I can only take like maybe 1.5 gels during a full marathon. I had previously used Huma, and those worked pretty well, but I found lately that the Goo Roctanes, which is like a throwback because I used to use those, work really well, and I'm kind of good with the Honey Stinger too, and so those are my fueling options for Boston. So I'm going to test out a couple more on my long run tomorrow, and then go from there. Plus, we have these picky bars that I'm highly addicted to. They're really good, as are the snatch bars they have at the counter, so feel free to pick those up. Yeah, I'm gonna pick out some choices here. I'm kind of a fruity person, so I like to go with things like mango orange or strawberry kiwi, and not anything that tastes like chocolate or espresso, because that does not sound good to me in the middle of a marathon.
Hi, Charisse. Good luck. Good luck at Boston.
Good luck at Boston, Charisse.
Bye, guys. It's about time for me to make some dinner and wind down for the evening and watch some NCAA Final Four basketball. So I will see you all in Boston. To me, Boston is really just the mecca of all races. There are a ton of great marathons, and I would love to do them all. But Boston is that one that, you know, people strive for their entire lives to qualify, to run, and it's an experience like nothing else. Just with the crowds and the course itself and the volunteers and all of the support and the way that everyone really comes out, it's just this amazing feeling, and it's just this 26.2 miles of pure awesome.
This is Delta JetBlue Airways. Welcome to the Boston local time. Flight 995.
Hey guys, welcome to Boston.
Is this Miss Winters? Sure is. Oh my God! How you doing? Charisse is gonna crush it.
From Jenny May H152, favorite lightweight half marathon race shoe. I swear by the Brooks launch. I'm definitely a Brooks girl, and so that's what I wear for all of my marathons and a lot of my half marathons, depending on the terrain, and all of my training runs. But I do use the Brooks Hyperion for speed work and half marathon and shorter races, and those are super light and awesome. This is from @Tosh_runs26.2. How many pre-race poops does it take for you to be completely comfortable and ready to go? we all know, or anyone who's a runner knows, that we are not shy about our GI issues, and anything can happen over 26 miles. For me to feel comfortable, I'm gonna go with about 2.5. That way I feel like I've just gotten it all out. I'm really ready to run. I'm feeling lightweight, and I can drink some water, and I'm good to go then. So 2.5. We are here at the Boston Rabbit Shakeout Run, and we're doing this because I'm on the Boston Rabbit team, so I'm running on their team for Boston. I'm here like... From @BAMUP_runner, what's your goal for Boston? First and foremost, to enjoy the experience. Boston is just an awesome experience, and I want to enjoy every second of that. I do have some time goals in mind, and I'd really love to PR, but we'll see what happens. And because it's unpredictable, and so I just really want to have fun and enjoy that. And I have my PR race coming up in the fall.
And for those running the Boston Marathon, the conditions were not ideal, but thousands of runners braved today's cold and rain for the 122nd running of the marathon. As our Chandler Walsh explains, spectators and runners alike say extra layers are key for today.
Streets were filled with water, and the crowd at the start of the Boston Marathon was smaller than usual. The Boston Athletic Association says it's likely their coldest marathon start in 30 years.
I can legitimately say, out of 22 marathons and extreme heat conditions in my other 2 Bostons, that this was the most challenging race I've ever done. The wind was insane. It was a headwind the whole race. The rain was pouring, freezing, hailing at times, and it was more than a little chilly. This had a significant effect on everyone. Really, it was just about surviving. By mile 22, I couldn't see straight, and everything was a blur from the hypothermia. And after the finish, which I barely remember but apparently did manage to smile through, I was shuffled directly to the med tent along with thousands of other runners. That might be the coldest I've ever felt in my life, and I couldn't stop shivering. I was cramping up. They had me sipping hot water out of a straw under a myriad of blanket, despite, or rather in spite of, the conditions this year. This is easily my most memorable race in a completely positive way. And if I had to do it all over again, I absolutely would.